In a move that emphatically places love above hate while protecting and upholding the right to choose, Karnataka Legislature recently passed the Karnataka Freedom of Choice in Marriage and Prevention and Prohibition of Crimes in the Name of Honor and Tradition, or Eva Nammava Bill 2026. The push for a specific law to curb honor-related violence had gained traction in the state following the horrific killing of a pregnant 20-year-old by her father for marrying a Dalit man in the Inam Veerapur village in Hubballi Taluk in December 2025. So what are some of the key features of the bill? Why was a separate state legislation necessary to address violence against intercaste unions when central acts already exist? Will provisions in the bill be robust enough to check killings in the name of honor? Namaskara, welcome to Decode Karnataka. I'm Nalme Nachiyar. The Eva Nammava bill seeks to ensure freedom of choice in marriage, prevent caste-based crimes, safeguard human rights, and promote dignity in intercaste unions. Let's see some of the key features of this proposed legislation. The bill explicitly states that consent of parents, relatives, caste, or clan is not required for adults choosing to marry. It proposes a minimum of 5 years of imprisonment, extending to life imprisonment for killings in the name of honor. It also criminalizes social boycotts and acts of harassment against such couples. The bill proposes creating Eva Nammava Vedike, a special cell in all districts to solemnize and support intercaste marriages, along with the 24/7 helpline. The law also provides institutional support for couples. This includes police protection, establishment of state-funded safe houses in every district, access to legal aid, and assistance from NGOs. To discuss the bill and its significance, we have with us today Senior High Court and Supreme Court Advocate Ravivarma Kumar. He has served as the former Advocate General of Karnataka and was the founder chairman of the Karnataka State Commission for Backward Classes. The surge in violence faced by people in intercaste relationships, unions, marriages, often manifesting in the form of threat, coercion, or murder, which we term as honor killings loosely, is a gruesome reality that we continue to see as a society. You've been a strong advocate of intercaste marriages, even recommending policy incentives and reservation benefits for children of intercaste couples to bridge this social inequality, right? So what is your assessment of the current Eva Nammava bill?
This is an excellent move. See, most of the provisions in the Constitution, which are in the nature of fundamental rights, right to equality, for example, it is an injunction against the state not to discriminate. Article 14, Article 15, all these things. The beauty of this bill is it has converted that into a positive right. People are entitled to express their freedom of choice, freedom of marriage, or freedom of association, freedom of love, without being bogged down by the derogatory practices that are held in the name of caste or religion.
Right.
So this is a beautiful step, a most welcome and desirable step. The government of Karnataka has done a great service to a cosmopolitan nature of our constitution. In Kannada they say, Sarva Janangada Shantiya Tota. Idu Dhyaya Vakya. This is implemented in letter and spirit.
Right.
And more than half a dozen judgments are there from the Supreme Court, highlighting these aspects of the matter. So, what is a negative right against the state as an injunction has now been made into a positive right where they can go and enforce it as in a court of law.
Okay.
That's the beauty of this legislation.
This piece of legislation deals specifically with intercaste couples, but do you think it could have included under its ambit interfaith unions as well? Do you see the scope for that?
It should be done.
Okay.
The definition of an intercaste marriage should be widened. It says between two different castes or two different subsections. It should go one step further and say two different communities.
Okay.
So castes, subcastes, or communities. That definition has to be revisited.
Okay.
Yeah, it should embrace interfaith or intercommunity marriages as well. In fact, Supreme Court has already decided this issue. if you remember, a Kerala girl was in love with a
Yes.
boy, and Honorable Supreme Court has laid down the law that they have the freedom to live together and get married.
Okay.
So it has upheld all it is already upheld.
Hmm.
This law is only giving the shape of a legislation.
Okay.
See, in a judgment, it is also law of the land, but it will not have the nitty-gritties to enforce it.
Right.
So this law is providing that machinery to enforce these rights and to prevent any obstruction to the exercise of this right, and mandate the police and the other official machinery to implement these laws and honor the freedom of the intending couple.
Okay. So during the debate over the bill in the assembly, BJP MLA from Karkala, V. Sunil Kumar, had raised a query about how the new law, about whether the new law was better than the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, which has replaced the IPC. And he said, quote unquote, a murder is a murder. Why do we need a second law? He'd asked. Now, how do you read this bill along with the provisions that are already available in the BNSS and BNS?
A very interesting comparison would be, I was addressing a colloquium of judges about 15 years ago in Delhi.
Okay.
65 sitting judges were in the colloquium, High Court judges, and it was inaugurated by Justice Shivraj Patil, the then Supreme Court judge, presided over by Justice A.P. Shah, the then Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court. During my talk, one of the judges from Madhya Pradesh, Justice Kulashrestha, he posed the same question. This was a colloquium to sensitize the judges on the Prevention of Atrocities Act.
Okay.
So one judge stood up and said, what is so different? Murder is a murder, rape is a rape. What if a Dalit woman is raped? How is it different? He said. So I had to tell him, this is precisely the sensitivity which we should give. Because it is committed because she belonged to a scheduled caste, because she belonged to an untouchable, because she is going to be a victim of untouchability and oppression. So it has to be treated differently from a rape that would happen. So I gave the example that just because you have become a judge, you are not an island in a society which practices untouchability. I would put the same question to Mr. Sunil Kumar. So we have to sensitize them also on the need to this. I am extremely happy Karnataka Legislature in one voice has voted in favor of the bill. Yeah.
Do you think having a law will just be enough? Or, like you said, to sensitize, what more can the state government do as a complementary to the law?
This is a very good question. Putting it in a law by itself is not going to bring about any change. And law is now, it is almost very well established. It is no longer a deterrent to a determined community which is bound to unleash its hegemony on other communities or other castes and subcastes. We may recollect what Basavanna himself practiced in the 12th century and what happened there afterwards.
Yeah.
So it is in that backdrop, making a law by itself is not sufficient. Law should be also thinking of measures by which you can propagate these ideals and create a machinery for it.
Right. Okay.
That is lacking in the bill.
Okay.
The bill does not provide the machinery to propagate these values and, more importantly, to tell the people these are the rights you have.
Right.
And this should be done right from the stage of higher secondary education, where this should be included in the syllabus, in the curriculum, where the children will be taught on the freedom of love and the freedom of association, freedom of marriage, and to build a casteless and a classless society.
Right.
Now that should be the starting point. And for that you will have to train teachers, will be able to inculcate these values in the children. Whom will you select? Teachers should also be people who have practiced these ideals. So there, I would remember Dr. Ramanohar Lohia, who advocated it in early 1950s. He said intercaste marriage is the only way you can demolish the caste system. And for that, he said, you make it mandatory that all gazetted posts in the country are filled up by people who are parties to an intercaste marriage.
Okay.
This was supported by Baba Saheb Ambedkar, and he said the only way you can annihilate caste is by intercaste marriages. So that has to be done.
According to statistics provided by Home Minister G. Parmeshwara in the recent session, Karnataka has witnessed 15 hate crimes against couples over the past 5 years, 2021 to 26. But this number obviously seems like an underestimate because many such incidents end up being registered as murder, suicide, or accidents, and with families and even authorities trying to hide the actual reason. So, do you think codifying it or codifying honor killing as a separate category in legislation could have a stronger, better impact?
Having it a separate category, there is some incongruity in the bill. I should tell you this, because they say there should be a separate trial and separate inquiry. I think that concept is not permissible under the Constitution.
Okay.
Because we are now governed by a doctrine of guarantee against double jeopardy. If it is a murder, you can't be tried both for murder and for honor killing.
Okay.
It can be only one of them. And for a murder, you are giving the minimum sentence is life sentence.
Right.
Here only 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
So
extending up to life imprisonment.
Are you providing a way out to murderers by embarking on a 5-year sentence in preference to a life sentence?
Okay.
This is a great incongruity that needs to be addressed.
Right.
Now, here I would request the government to revisit this provision, and in the light of the provisions in the Prevention of Atrocities Act, where it provides for a different punishment. The same offences under the Indian Penal Code are also punished by a certain punishment, but the POA Act provides for a different punishment. It says these are alternate punishments, whichever is higher should be imposed. So, if a murder answers the killing of a person as a honor killing, then it should be a higher sentence, not a lower sentence. And
I think
this separate trial is not permissible.
Okay.
Doctrine of double jeopardy.
Okay.
That is banned under the Constitution. You can't convict a man for the same offence twice.
Right. Okay.
And here it provides for a separate trial, impermissible. So it needs to be revisited.
Okay. All right. Since you've already sort of gone into some of the provisions that way, what are the other challenges that you foresee in implementation of the law in its current form as it is, if you want to dwell into some of the other provisions that it mentions?
See, the basic lacuna in the Act is, in the bill is, it is not contemplating a reverse presumption.
Okay.
So the least that you should do is, just the same way under the POCSO Act or under the Prevention of Atrocities Act, there is a presumption of the guilt. There is a presumption of the motive or the mens rea. That is absent in the present bill. Likewise, anticipatory bail is denied in most of those legislations. Here there is no corresponding provision to deny anticipatory bail.
Looking ahead, I want to talk about some schemes that we already have, that the state government already has. The state social welfare department has been running two schemes which offer financial incentives for inter-community couples. This is in a way not just a support to, that is given once they are married, but also encourage people to get into such unions. There have been reports, however, of administrative delays and red tapeism where the support hasn't reached the people. So how do you think the state can address this to ensure that the program actually achieves the intended outcome?
There is lack of political will in promoting intercaste marriages. Therefore, this incentive is only an executive action. Why it is not a legislation? Had it been a legislation, the couple which is denied of this benefit would have rushed to the court and got that benefit. It would have been an enforceable right. And more importantly, the incentives should be much more comprehensive. Like I have recommended reservation in favor of intercaste marriage couples or their children. So that should be made a legislative mandate, in which event children will be able to. Now you want to build
this is in reservation in
reservation in jobs, reservation in educational institutions, professional institutions, in engineering colleges, in medical colleges. That is the best way you can provide for their exit from the caste hierarchy.
Their exit from the caste hierarchy.
Yeah. If in the caste system they are already getting the benefit of reservation, many people are reluctant to leave their caste because they will lose whatever benefit now they are getting as scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, or socially and educationally backward. But if you are assuring them, even if you leave this social category, you will continue to get some kind of an affirmative action benefit as casteless couple, then almost all the youth will be embracing that opportunity and kick off their caste. And this is the best foundation you can lay for a casteless and classless egalitarian society.
But given the the conflict that we see coming up every time any kind of reservation is brought in, internal reservation also, don't you think there will be a lot of resistance to this? And how do we work around it?
On the contrary, that system is already working in Tamil Nadu. Purnachandra Tejasvi was the petitioner before me. He wanted this to be done. So I have examined him, I have taken the data, and I am myself one of the founders of Manav Mantapa, a trust which is promoting intercaste marriages in a big way. Where we promote self-respect marriages, Kuempu's Mantra Mangalya, Periyar's self-respect marriage. We are implementing it. We are promoting it in a big way. I have myself conducted more than 4,000 marriages. The couple exchange garlands and take oath without having any religious ceremonies or having a priest to officiate in such. In fact, priests are dispensed. So that is permissible. So this should be made. For example, Tamil Nadu has made it a permissible marriage by amending the Hindu law. Siddaramaiah, who is a staunch Lohiyite, he has not thought of amending the Hindu law and recognizing Mantra Mangalya. See, all the Lohiyites in the state, whether it is U.R. Anantmurthy, it is Professor Nanjan Swami, Kadadal Shamanna, Purnachandra Tejasvi, Professor Ramdas, or scores of others. All of them got married through Mantra Mangalya. It is still not recognized in law as a permissible, valid marriage. It is still resting purely on the mutual trust, love and affection between the couple. So that should be done. Karnataka should be serious about what it is doing. You want to build a cosmopolitan society? First, make these marriages valid.
The Eva Nammava bill is yet another legal safeguard to protect caste-related violence. But in the face of deeply entrenched notions of caste pride and caste supremacy, how effective will such laws be? The landmark legislation is currently awaiting the governor's assent, and we will continue to track all the developments around it. I'll see you in the next episode of Decode Karnataka. Until then, follow The Hindu for more such stories and videos.